welcome back to 30 and Thriving. We are back again with a banger. Okay, so I am joined by my co-host Nyasha.
Hi guys, you're looking good. The swag, I love it.
Yes, guys. So we now have 30 and Thriving Mats. So let us know what you guys think about it. It's available on pre-ordering. Anyway, guys, so today we want to talk about a topic that's been trending, and it won't be 30 and Thriving if we don't discuss this, guys. We are discussing none other than Jonasi. Hi, Bo.
Drum roll, please.
Please. Hi, Bo. Jonasi. Okay, so by now, I'm sure most of us have watched the new series, The Polygamist, a South African series, and it's actually a book written by a Zimbabwean author, Sue Nyati, right? Yeah, so kudos to Sue Nyati for delivering such an epic story that everybody is talking about. If you haven't watched The Polygamist and you don't want your girlfriend or your boyfriend hasn't watched The Polygamist, run and watch The Polygamist.
You could be Joyce. Who knows?
Oh, Matipa. All right, so we want to just do a review about The Polygamist. There's a lot of conversation going around on social media about the polygamist. So yeah, let's get into it.
So I saw a post that says every woman, almost every woman, has experienced a Jonasi. It couldn't have been your boyfriend. It could have been your father. But one way or the other, every woman has experienced a Jonasi. And we're going to
Definitely.
dive into that because I
Right.
think there are very valuable lessons that we get from the series. And I know
Mhm.
some people might say if you're a Christian, you're not supposed to watch it. And I think that's only because of preference. But I feel like at the end of the day, there are valuable lessons that we can learn. What are your thoughts on that?
Okay, so you see, you can already
Yeah.
tell from my face, if
Yeah.
you're not a Christian, you're not supposed to watch. I'm like, so it's interesting because again on social media there was a lady pastor who was saying that as a Christian woman you shouldn't be watching the polygamist because of the nudity and
Yeah.
everything. And people were like, how did you know? I'm like,
How did you
yeah,
the
but anyway, that is
extent?
not the point.
Yeah.
I feel like that is where most of us get it wrong. And that is how we end up being like Joyce, Matipa, Lindani, and all of those people, because we are running away from knowledge, or we are running away from wisdom. As much as it had so much, explicit content from the series,
Which
but
you can
yeah,
skip,
which
by
you
the
can
way.
skip. But exactly, there's an
Yeah.
option to
You
skip.
choose what you
Exactly. So
yeah.
I think as much as we want to say, it's not, the Christian, uh, whatever. I personally think that's how most of us end up being in those situations, because the way they told that story, like most of us, we have lived that life over and over. I mean, we're going to get into the characters. Um, if you look at Joyce, for example, it's like, how much of that can you take?
Yeah.
Like, how much of it can you take? The man has offered you a divorce, you refuse, you're like, okay, let's go through thick and thin. You're honoring your wedding vows. Okay, fine. Then from that, you go to Avura Hombe, from
One
from
woman to
opening
another.
one to another, and you just keep, rolling with the same guy. And I think it comes from, you know, not wanting to learn from people who've been through those experiences,
Yeah.
and saying, just because it's a series and it's worldly
And I
and
think
what.
that's what most people are saying.
Yeah.
Saying it's just a series. And I think my opening
Mm-mm.
question was going to be, why do you think the series blew up and why do you think it triggered a lot of people so much?
Yeah.
That will show you the extent of how it's more than just a movie.
Yeah, it's not
Because
a movie.
if you're triggered
It's
by something,
relatable.
it's because you have lived that
He's right.
experience or you have watched it happen to someone and then it triggers you. So
Mhm.
it shows you how majority of women have lived whatever character was in that series, whether you are a Joyce, whether you're a Matipa, whether you're a Lindani, but at some point in your life, you can really relate to everything that happened into that series. And I think I just want us to dive into, one of the characters that stand out in the series, and that's Joyce, right?
Joyce. Oh, Madame Joyce.
Because I think in all of this, I feel like she was the one who was mostly wrong because she was unaware of Jonas's otherwise. So, for instance, AC knew that there was Joyce. Matipa knew that there was Joyce, right? And maybe she might have not known that there was AC, but she was still willing to get it down with a married.
Lindani knew there was a Joyce.
So you see, I feel like we need to really talk about some of the key lessons that we can take from, Joyce's character and how it really translates to some of the lives that most women are living in.
Right.
And I want to talk about financial freedom, how it is important for women. Because at one point, Joyce's mother asked her if she should just open an offshore account or something like that.
Yeah.
But she said she loves them. But if we look deeper into it, it was because she had not built financial independence. Yes, she owned half of the company, but still, the will, if you see at the end, she wanted to even cheat Jonasi into changing the will because I don't think there was much in her
that
name.
was to her name.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Okay. I think there was that, but I don't know. From what I got, I think Joyce came from a
Wealthy
family
yeah.
compared to Jonas. So I think in terms of financial, so I think there's financial freedom, then there's financial literacy. I think Joyce had financial freedom, but probably what she lacked was financial literacy, in the sense that you may have the money, but you don't know what to do with it and how to manage what you have.
Yeah.
Because I feel like if Joyce had somebody who could actually talk to her through it,
Yeah.
she would have left a long time ago.
Yeah.
Because I think she had, because the whole time she kept on saying, I made you to Jonasi.
Yeah.
Like Jonasi wouldn't be where he was if it wasn't for Joy. So and there was a something like Jonasi getting a tender from Joyce's dad. That's how they ended up getting married, something like that. So it shows Joyce everything was well for her. Like everything was well organized and everything. But I feel like she just lacked the financial literacy. She lacked, somebody to come in and just tell her, okay, you could actually have a trust. Yes, it's okay to have an offshore. Yes, because I feel like if she had that, at some point she would have just woken up and say, you know what?
But you know what? I think I want to like differ with your opinion because do you know that there was a point where Joyce's mother told her to create an offshore account? Yes, I do realize that the money that started the company was from Joyce's
family.
so they owned the company half, right? So they were equal shares to that company. But at some point, she did not have access to the money that they had. Yeah. And I think that's one of the greatest traps that most women fall into. They think that a ring equals to financial independence because when that ring is taken away, you are left with nothing in your name. And you will see how this materialized, her trying to change the will because she had nothing in her. And remember when Lindani got the house from Jonasi, she did not have a say in that because ultimately the decision was up to Jonasi to distribute whatever wealth that they had. And another factor that even shows with that she did not have financial independence was how she clung so much to the campaign that she was doing with that with that bubble bubble bath company.
Yes.
For her, it was everything because I feel like that is where she was getting most of her finances from. Yeah. So I think most women think that you, the moment you get married to a wealthy man, you automatically become wealthy. Yeah. And that brings us to a point where women are in marriages or even relationships with men only because they fear kuti if I leave this man, how am I going to
Yeah.
fend for myself? How am I going to fend for our children? And it now brings us to the issue of financial literacy.
Yeah.
Women do not have financial literacy.
Because with even with that,
Mhm.
she still could have somebody come in and told her
Yeah.
what she then did in the end. Somebody could have come in the beginning and told her, look, you own this company 50.
Yes.
This is how you can. Look at
You are
me
entitled.
talking like I have 50 million in my account. But anyway, somebody could have actually just come in and told you how to probably invest in yourself, how to probably make sure Jonasi doesn't freeze your accounts or whatever. 'Cause
Yes.
even with Matipa, there was a time she wanted to move money from the account and she was caught.
She couldn't. And people think just because I got married to this Mbinga, now I'm entitled to all the money that they have. And people don't know that whoever controls the money controls you.
Exactly.
So whatever it is that they want to do with your life, they can do it.
Yeah. That's why Jonasi was never scared.
Yeah, because he knew.
He played his cards right.
And he knew that was the reason why Matipa got with him. Because yes, she loved him, like she said, but also she loved the lifestyle that Jonasi brought. And he knew that without that lifestyle, Matipa would, try to cling to Jonasi all she wanted.
So do you think Joyce, why do you think Joyce stayed in that? So do you think Joyce stayed in that marriage for money as well? Matipa, I understand. That was, she made her intentions clear from the beginning. But for Joyce, was it the money?
I think money was a contributing factor,
Okay.
but I also think that she loved the guy.
Mm-hmm.
Or I can say she loved the version of Jonasi that she thought was the right man, right?
Okay.
Because remember, when we fall in love, we fall in love with an idea, right?
Of a person.
Of a person. So if they wow you, if they know how to talk, with guys, they know how to marinate you.
Yeah.
You fall in love with that, and on a deeper level, you don't get to understand who they are in reality. I feel like if Joyce knew that Essie, the first wife, was the who was the first wife? Essie was the second. Because I feel like after he married, Matipa was the first. But I feel like if Joyce knew the existence of Essie, she would not have married Jonasi.
So Essie was like a long time girlfriend.
Yes.
Then Jonasi married Joyce first,
Mhm.
and then later on married.
I don't think it was even a later on. It was like in the same
The
year
same.
that
Right.
he
So
went.
for me, I think there's one aspect of marriage that I think probably that's why Joyce stayed. And I think we find it very common in our African household. I think if you're to have a conversation with a typical African mom and she's to tell you what she has had to endure or the marriage she has had to endure, one of the things they say is ndakagarira vana.
Vana vangu, yeah.
And I think probably it's about calculating the amount of years,
Yeah.
the things you've been through,
Investment that you have
the
put.
investment. I feel like as women, there's this fear of starting over. It's just, if you notice, most African women, when you have probably 3 children and above, or even 2 and above, and you're over 40, it's very rare for women to remarry.
And
Right.
I think we shouldn't even talk about married women because people will say, but you're not even married. How do you know, right? But let me tell you, no, that's why we started with the opening statement. A Jonasi might not be your husband. It could have been your father.
Yeah, or
It
a
could have been
brother
an
or
uncle.
someone.
So you could have witnessed it. And it also goes for relationships because it starts in a relationship when you notice red flags in a man and you still stay, right? It will just magnify when you get married. So now you get married, there are kids, you still do not want to leave. And this happens in all areas of life. It's so difficult to start over, whether it's a job, a new career, even a new relationship. Do you know that there are people that are married to men that abuse them now, but these men were boyfriends that abused them, right?
Yeah,
They were just so scared to start over. Like, I've been dating this guy for the past 10 years. I've been dating him for the past 5 years. We can't break up now. So there's always that fear to start over, and we see it with Joyce, and to the extent to which it goes. Now you are willing to stay with a serial cheater. I don't like. Was Jonas even a cheater? Was he addicted to women? I can't put my
Exactly.
finger
That's
on
the
it.
thing. Like,
Yeah.
what was it? But I think it's Jonasi. I mean, we'll get to Jonasi, but I think he just had trauma, daddy issues, a lot going on with him.
With him, yeah.
But like, yeah, I feel like this whole thing of like a lot of us women, the reason why probably most of us stay in relationships, it's because we feel like we have invested so much into a person or into a particular environment. We've contributed so much that it then becomes difficult for us to move on from that. Like we tend to just get so attached and get so clingy that we feel like after all these years, after all the effort I put in, after all the time I put in, don't go see ya, yeah. So I think for me, that's also one thing. Apart from the money, it was also that another thing, Ngoti, we've built all this. We
And she
can't,
always kept
you know,
referring to like, tell your kids this is what you have done. She wanted to use the kids as like,
so that
he doesn't leave. Because for her, she valued that perfect family. Like, oh, we are a mom and a dad. We've got our kids. Now you want to disrupt that whole setup. Yeah. So I think that whole aspect of wanting to start, and like, ladies, if you are watching me, it's never too late to start over.
Right.
Imagine enjoying a lifetime of abuse of a serial cheater instead of just moving on and starting a life that's meant for you.
Yeah, that's true. So let's move to Jonasi himself.
The main character.
Character.
The main man.
The main man. So, it's funny how men on social media say Jonasi was a victim. Do you know what? I am kind of biased. I want to say, you know what? To a certain extent, he was. And I'll explain why. Um, in the sense that Jonasi had issues growing up. But it's not an excuse for his behavior or for his character. But Jonasi had issues growing up. And those issues now started to show up in marriage. And you can see that what it then also transmits to his son later on. Yes. So you see how when you have issues and they're not dealt with, and you just it's like how his brother kept on covering
I
up
feel
for
like that's
you.
the reason why men, not even men, people get away with bad behavior. Right. I was actually having a conversation today with a few ladies, and they were saying that after 21, the choices that you make, it's all up to you. It's not because life dealt you a bad card. Everyone is coming from somewhere.
Right.
We have experienced trauma, we've experienced different upbringings because of our environment, or just even biological makeup. But there comes a time where you choose to not be like whether it's your father, whether it's your generation.
You just have to break.
That's the reason why we accept that men cheat. Do you know now it's very easy to say that a woman must get married as a virgin, but a man cannot be a virgin. Why? It's because we have accepted it, we have normalized it, and we give men a free pass. I will not say Jonasi was a victim. Jonasi made a very what do they mean? A conscious decision to be a cheater, to be a manipulator, because with all the people, like, okay, Essie loved him. Joyce loved it. He could not just be loyal. So I'm not having it.
And the men are polygamist by nature.
And that's the general perspective. If you ask any man who watched the Polygamist, it's like, okay, all men cheat. It's just that I actually saw someone saying that all men cheat. It's just that Jonasi didn't have game. He didn't know how to cheat. He could have done away with getting caught and all of these things, but he just didn't know how to do it, because men actually think that's normal.
Right.
And that's why we are people are getting into marriages, relationships with men that cheat, and they feel like it's okay.
It's okay.
I was actually having a conversation with a friend that said, I actually think all men cheat, and I'm actually expecting mine to cheat, and I'm okay with it.
Ooh.
Right? That's when you see that we have normalized this, because we say, oh, it's normal that men cheat, or Jonasi
And
the
it is
victim.
the fact that most guys do not want to watch the polygamy.
Yeah. They do not want to see themselves mirrored in the the Jonasi, because they're just like, who does that? But
Yeah.
and also I also, one thing that we can also take from Jonasi is a man will only treat you how you let
You
him.
let him. Yeah.
We see how Essie
Essie.
enabled him.
Yeah.
I feel like Essie is the villain,
Yeah.
actually, because she could have stopped
She's the
this.
enabler.
Yeah.
From a tender age.
From a tender
Remember
age.
how she was covering up for Jonasi cheating with another girl?
Exactly.
Yeah. But you know what? What is wrong with Essie? I want to understand Essie's brain. Because how do you see a guy you like, right? I know, okay, maybe it's high school, frontal lobe isn't developed, but still, you see a guy you like with a girl and you just let them be. Then another girl comes who likes the same guy and you still like that guy.
And that guy comes to you and
Exactly.
they are whine to you. And because I think what I've seen is, do you know that thing when you talked about in our last podcast with Senik, when we were talking about, we feel like we can change, and
Yeah.
women, we feel that we feel
A man
like,
can change for me.
yes, or like
Yeah,
we can
and
love
surprise.
someone so much that they can
they
have
can-
this epiphany, like, oh, Nyasha loves me so much. I think I
Right.
must change. That we think we can love someone out of cheating or treating us badly.
I
So
like
most
that.
of the time, you would see that you feel like, maybe if I can cook for him, maybe because Essie would cook, and
Yeah,
Jonasi loves.
yeah, and she was
Yeah.
very, what's the word? Not ghetto, but like she was very, yeah,
That kind
she
of
was that kind
a
of
cast
woman.
woman. Like,
Yeah,
so she felt like, maybe if I could just let him have his life, then he would know that I always have his back. If I can cook better for him, if I can do this for him, then maybe one day he will see me.
yeah.
Because I think for Essie, she's the woman that was in the shadows, always hoping that one day
One
this
day he
man,
will see me.
he will see
Yeah,
me. And that
and
most
that is
women are like that.
that's most of us.
You
Yeah.
actually know that maybe your boyfriend is cheating, or your husband has got an affair, and you're always hoping that one day he'll realize that I'm the woman who has his back. I'm the woman that loves him, that cooks for him, that does all these things. And what you actually don't realize is, the more you do that, the more you're actually allowing him to treat you
To
that
treat
way.
you the
He will
way he
never see
treats
you
you.
that
So
way.
what is the one thing that will actually make amends? Is it okay, I think it kind of then makes sense that have you ever heard of this thing that people say a man should love his wife as Christ loved his church,
Yeah.
and women should be submissive. Uh, I'm forgetting the entire verse.
Yeah.
But most preachers would say it's the duty or the role of a man to actually love
Yeah.
the woman. And it's the role of a woman to then probably submit to the love that she's getting.
Yeah.
Not to say that women shouldn't love, but I think relationships are much easier or much better if the man actually loves
Yeah.
you
More
than
than-
you.
Honestly,
I hate to say it. I know it sounds
Yeah.
it already sounds weird coming out from my mouth,
that's
but
like
but I think it then kind of like makes sense when you look at it. Like you're saying, you can't love a man out of so if that guy doesn't love or value you, there's absolutely nothing you're going to do for him to come to his senses and focus on you. I don't know. I would love to hear a guy's perspective on what actually goes. So should we love you? Should we not? Like what should we do?
one of our brothers here right now in the recording studio saying men know what they want, but women don't, right? So honestly,
And we just want the guys not to cheat. Is that so much?
if a man loves you, you will know. I think most as women, we ignore the red flags because we want to be chosen so much. And that's like the common thread that we see with Joyce, with Matipa, all of the women. They just want to be chosen, right? And they end up being at war with each other. But then the battle was, I want to be better than everyone, so I want to be chosen. But if a guy doesn't want you, he will show you the signs. But you will and and whatever it is that you ignore when you're dating someone will only magnify in marriage. So if he's someone that was never attentive, just know that when you're now in your marriage, it's just going to be 10 times worse. So he's going to look for someone that he wants at your
And
extent.
speaking of red flags, there's something about the intro of the Polygamist. So I actually then saw it on X and I was like, okay.
Is it?
The intro of the Polygamist, there's an image of a fish meeting with a bird. So somebody says that there is what's called the fish and ego theory or fish and bird theory. So a fish thrives in water. That's the perfect environment for a fish. And then a bird thrives in the air, in the forest, whatever. Like it thrives by flying. So when these two meet, if you see from the intro of the Polygamist, there is like the sort of like a merging or the meeting of the bird and then the fish, and then it dissolves, right? So the person was illustrating that this illustration is to show that when two people come together and they are misaligned, or they don't believe in the same things and their values are misaligned, or they will never exist. Someone will die eventually in the process. So it's either Jonasi will keep taking from you and you will lose yourself in the process, or eventually Jonasi will die. So it was such a beautiful illustration.
It actually speaks on the issue to do with identity, because for you to know if you're aligned with someone, you need to know who you are.
Right.
And I think we've spoken about this in a previous episode where we are talking about why identity is so important for women. I remember, I think it was Matipa's mother, and then there was Mpome. So firstly, Matipa's mother asked her, I don't know if it was a question or she told her to love herself. And then even Mpome told Matipa to choose herself. You can only get to a point where you love yourself or choose yourself if you know who you are and what you
And I
deserve.
think at some point she told even Joyce to love yourself.
So it's that thing where women don't know, we don't know who we are. Outside of the confines of marriage and relationships, we all know we want to get married. We want to get married. But who are you outside
that?
And when you know that you are going to protect that at all cost. Let's say, for instance, if I can introduce myself as a child of God cannot be subjected to abuse, to being cheated, to being diminished, because I know that God tells me that I'm the head and I'm the tail. God tells me that I'm wonderfully and beautifully made. So that's my identity in Christ. That's how I define myself. And the moment you know who you are, you will know who is aligned with you.
Right.
So Joyce did not even believe in polygamy. So if she knew who she was, even if Jonasi came dangling polygamy in her face, she would have said, that is not who I am. I do not subscribe to polygamy. If that's what you choose, then I want to excuse myself.
Right.
I remember I didn't go to that conference that we had at church, but like I know one of our pastors was hammering on identity. And everyone wanted to know, how should we get married? How should we pray for marriage? We want jobs. And she kept talking about identity. Because everything centers around identity. Even the job that you are doing or that you are praying for is based on your identity. Yes.
Right.
So I think that illustration, it comes back to the issue of women just knowing themselves.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Another interesting character. Let's move on to Matipa.
Hi, Matipa, the home wreck. We'll not even mix our words. Matipa, the home wreck.
Well, I think Matipa got what she deserved. Sorry.
Well, yeah.
I think Matipa, a few words for Matipa is, she got what she deserved. She knew what she was getting herself into.
Yeah.
And then she got you know, what she deserved in the process. Yeah.
For me, I want to draw lessons
Yeah.
from these women, because we're talking about 30 and thriving, right?
Mm.
I would say Matipa was someone who was jealous and envious.
Right.
She was jealous of the lifestyle that
Mm.
Joyce had, and she wanted that lifestyle.
Yeah.
And she did not care who got hurt in the way, right? And then Matipa is one of those women that don't believe in hard work. They believe in sleeping their way through to promotions. And that's how we have a society of women that believe in sleeping with married men or sleeping with rich men so that they can finance a certain lifestyle.
Yeah.
And I think we have talked about this at some point. Do you? That's fine.
Yeah.
But someone watching this podcast must know that as a woman, you must attribute your success to your own hard work.
Right.
I remember someone saying that, do you know that happiness that is given to you is not yours to keep, because it can be taken anytime.
Anytime.
It's the same with success.
Right.
Success that you do not work for, that is given to you, is not yours to keep. It can be taken from you. And we see it during the series where Matipa tried to transfer some money, and that money was, the accounts were frozen because that was not her money, right? So I think as women, the only way you can thrive is to attribute your success to your own hard work. Say, I got that car because I worked for it. I got that house because I
we
worked for it.
Yeah.
Don't envy lifestyle yevan who are sleeping around to get
That, yeah.
to get things.
Yeah.
And that will get us to that conclusion where Matipa deserved everything that she got.
Right. And I think then I actually bring back a conversation we once had about, like, marrying for money or being in a relationship for money versus for love, where we see, like, on social media, people flaunting gifts, they're being bought, and now you're trying to think to yourself that some of these people that we are adoring and admiring,
Yeah.
are they really happy from, the position they are in,
Yeah.
with people giving them gifts and whatever they're getting, being flown out and going on different vacations? Are they really happy where they are? And it's like you see that from Matipa, that, I mean, she was with Jonasi for the man, but did she really get to enjoy the money?
And was she
Was
happy?
it worth it?
Because she was in a good house.
Yeah.
She was probably driving a good car. The kids were taken care of, but she had to cry herself to sleep.
Every time.
That way is
was
one
a
worry.
fight,
Where is
yeah.
this man? And also, there's a statement that says the same way you get a guy is the same way that you lose him. And
That's
Natila,
dining came into the
that's how we now get into
Okay, so about Lindani. So I think one character that scared me, or at the part that scared me, was Lindani.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, then at some point you're going to have kids, you're going to have a daughter, and you're going to want your daughter to go for sleepovers.
Yeah.
But, like, it was the whole thing of, where are you sending your child to?
True, yeah.
Those who are your friends? Like, what kind of family do they? And the fact that Joyce treated Lindani as your own daughter, and even, I don't think the parents of the Lindani's parents thought anything of it. They were so innocent, like, okay, we just, Lindani's friends with Mpume and things like that, and they didn't think any of it. And then it turns out to be this whole.
She turned into a monster. And for me,
yeah.
I think Lindani's character was the one that triggered me and fascinated me at the same time, because I work with young girls.
Yeah.
Right. And for me, my key takeaway was how exposure is important.
Right.
Lindani was so mesmerized that this man booked the whole restaurant for me.
Yeah.
She was so mesmerized. You've got a holiday home, like, for her.
Exactly.
And if you even juxtaposition with Mpome, she spoke about it casually. Oh, we've got a house
yeah.
in Durban, a holiday home.
Order the one going.
Because she was exposed to the finer things in life at a very tender age. So to her, you actually know that even if a man came and asked her to go on a holiday, she would not be she would not compromise herself for an experience because that's something that she has grown up into. But nowadays, young people are falling into a lot of problems just because of small things, exposure. Someone will say, "Oh, I'll take you to on a trip. I'll fly you to South Africa," right? And because she has never been on a plane, or whether it could be even a private jet, it could be on a private jet, and you're willing to compromise yourself because of exposure. So as ladies, let's expose ourselves. And if you're a parent, you're watching this, expose your child to the good life.
Right.
It doesn't have to be a private jet, just like your normal restaurant. Instead of going to a takeout, just go to a normal restaurant, sit down, teach them how to order nice food, take them to a movie so that when they see the bright lights and everything, they're
not really moved.
rasa, unwake and whatever it is that they were taught. Because I know Lindani's mom would always say, "Okaita numbu, if you get pregnant, I'm not going to take care of that child and everything." I'm sure she even tried, Homotsiura and everything. But because she grew up in Soweto, that was the life that she
She was exhausted.
So yeah, for me that was really triggering in that aspect.
I want to talk about Sarah. Like, I think the daddy issues that Sarah had, like
Yeah.
always being the child in the shadows. And I think what broke my heart the most about Sarah is the fact that she knew who her father was. It's a different case where you don't actually know
Who's your
probably the mom is lying to you. We don't know who your dad is. But the fact that she knew who the dad was, like
I just started acting.
that part, like it really broke
People
me.
don't know, like, that's how generational trauma is passed down. I think what you said about Pome's brother, like, do you know, like, children, what shapes their behavior is not what you tell them. So even if you tell your child do not steal, but they are watching you stealing all the time, chances are they're going
It's
to
like how
become
Make It turned out, where Jonasi was trying to, I want to make you a man.
Yeah.
But he was watching what Jonasi was doing, and then he turned out
Exactly.
to be that way.
So people will downplay that. The only reason why, when we're talking about generational trauma, so like you see that when you grow up, there are certain relatives even in your family that you don't talk to, right? And wakangokura shingonzi vabereki vako havataure neava, these cousins and whatnot. And even if your mom vakakudza kuti you must love people and everything, but you have watched this over and over again, you are going to grow up uchivavengawo.
Exactly.
So that's how you pass it. So I think for me, Sarah was just her, like, she inherited that as well. She inherited that, and yeah, children watch what's happening.
What's happening? All right. No, I think there's just a lot to talk about. Like, and one part I would also just want to talk about from a health perspective is when everybody got gonorrhea and Lindani had to lose.
Yes, doc. Please, school these people. Because I actually know, like, people are saying, "Oh, but he was sleeping with all of these people, but no one got HIV or an STI." Like, please school us. How does that work?
Well, I think, okay, so I was trying to think where the gonorrhea could have come from, but I'm thinking it could have come from Essie. Because at some point there was a repetition of Essie is taking some medication, but we don't know what's medication, what it was for. And then also Essie had a Benton as well from Soweto. So it could have probably come from her. That's what I'm suspecting, what I would think. And then the one thing that I think the conversation about, like, Lindani losing the baby is what I actually just want to talk about the most, about how she then lost the baby. And I highly suspect it was just due to the gonorrhea that she had contracted from Jonasi. Yes. So I think people are just scared about the big elephant in the room, which is HIV. But STIs as well, gonorrhea, syphilis. Syphilis can actually cause blindness. And people are just like, as long as I'm not going to be on the medication on art. So people tend to downplay other STIs.
Yeah.
Yet we have other silent killers that are,
Yeah. It's like how people are more scared of getting pregnant
pregnant.
than HIV. Like, oh, at least I'm not pregnant.
Exactly. Like people will be like, at least I'm not.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So I think also when it comes to it's just that we should bear in mind that whatever we are doing, it's all fun and games until. So we should also just bear in mind, always use protection. It's scary out there. But
Yeah.
we just have
And
to
also
talk
how
about it. Yeah.
STIs signs don't show any in
Exactly.
women.
Especially in men.
Oh, okay.
Men, most STIs, men are the carriers of the STIs, and they
Look
don't
in the
show.
camera and tell these people because they are doing HIV tests with their eyes. Oh,
Some of the STIs, men are the carriers. For example, the one virus that causes cancer, the HPV virus that causes cervical cancer in women, usually men are the carriers, but they don't show any symptoms of that. It's only when it then comes to the woman that the woman is now symptomatic, and then that's when she then starts showing signs. But in men, you won't see any signs. So someone can easily tell you did not get that from me.
oh, yeah, and that's how men get
Exactly.
away with so many things.
Yeah. So anyway, I think we have another episode. Yeah.
But yeah, I think this has been a real conversation because people think some of these movies are just
Yeah.
movies. And yeah, what are your parting words before we end this episode?
Well, I think it then goes back to the intro where we were saying that the Polygamist, it's not just a series. There's a lot to learn.
Yeah.
You have to watch it with a very open mind. You have to be open-minded. It teaches a lot about parenting. It teaches a lot about relationships. It teaches a lot about health, lifestyle, like a whole lot of things. We didn't even get to talk about Jonas's brother who was covering up his mess, and how he also was a father figure to the children, So it's a lot. So I would say it was a good series, and for everyone who is watching it, it's something that you can watch with an open mind and not just, entertainment.
Yeah. And I think my parting words would be build a life that doesn't need a man for you to survive. Because most people were making men gods. And when they're taken from the equation, our whole identity, it just comes crashing. So as a woman, build a life that is not dependent on a man. And it's never too late to rebuild your life. Whether you're 30, 40 or 50, you can start all over. You can get that degree. You can pursue your dreams. So yeah.
Yeah. Clock it. And that's all from us.
Hashtag.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's all from us, guys. So please let us know in the comment section what you think about the Polygamist. And till next time, bye.